Christina Universe Citizen presents New Era Religion, Episode 79, Part 2, July 6, 2022. Relevant Integrals of Omniexperience Accounting, continued from Episode 78, Part 1. The standard enables the succeeding generations along similar lines of non-thinking, where believing holds a greater sway for convincing the impressionable by variously devised claims. In that adaptation, no conscious and knowledgeable competent projections include the geometries and topologies of the closest packing unit radius spheres. 50 states coexist in what is referred to as one nation. Obviously, human intellect can conceptualize these differently sized, differently located individual states ruled under one flag as the territory of one nation. It is a form of government that is both a republic and a democracy, which are said to be an experiment with a constitution that was written for the future generations to trust. Amendments added to the original intent as the experiment disproportionally grew, as subsequent assurances for protecting freedoms and individual rights were not precisely spelled out, not worded to the people's satisfaction. Nary a thought seems to have occurred hundreds of years ago, or as recently as mid-20th century, and not even in the 21st century, second decade, 2022, that the manifest numbers 48 and 50 are relevant to the science and technology of powering relevant integrals of our humanity's omni-experience accounting, where fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional consciousness evolution of the future was always integral conceptioning. The integral conceptioning intuitively pulls the human mind's integral curiosity as the individual metaphysical intellect recognizes its conscious functions of omnirational universe. How otherwise can anticipatory intellection admit to the developing clarity where relevant numbers signify correlations to be considered essential to the universal communications process, when omitting the metaphysical generalized conceptioning field of closest packed unit radius spheres that provides the geometric models, it is unlikely intuitive correlations will emerge to provide a substantiating clarity that guarantees controlling the coordination of complex interactions by integration. Complex interactions are known as cycles. Stuck in the PRJWBC schemes that project precedence as the future's repetitive problem-making and inadequate problem-solving scenarios, when can the people hope to evolve out of those inherited detriments? The answer is, as we consciously admit, there are conceptual geometric models of powering coincidental to the manifest numbers as previous generations got those balls rolling from 13 colonies to 48 and then 50 states. 12 spheres around one sphere are 13, a prime number. The predecessors were unaware that some of the contemporary humanity would be conscious of the vector equilibrium. Most of the others are clueless that the geometric model makes it possible to account for fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional accounting. This evolved accounting uses tetrahedroning. This means intellect's awareness of the first four primes 1, 2, 3, 5, while recalling vector equilibrium's 480 A and B modules. So the number 48 in parentheses in 480 is 48 times 10 equal 480. 10 embraces the relevant prime numbers. We can verify this information in Synergetics 432.00 powering. That size is where relativity becomes generated indicates that when size alone can come to zero, it is not the conceptuality of the first subdivision of universe, the tetrahedral geometry and topology that identify one quantum of energy that consists of 24 energy quanta. When the frequency of the vector equilibrium is 50, as 50 edge intervals, the radii at 50 intervals, then there is always more to discern. It concerns consciousness evolution relevant to the republic and democracy. This experimental experience of a governing body of laws can evolve to a true democracy correlatively to awareness of what constitutes the total volumetric domain unique to the information gathering, information processing, and intellectual discernment of anyone's universal focus or point. Having already assimilated into my recallable memory as a potentially conscious domain, that a point is a tetrahedron of negligible base to altitude dimensioning, clearly implies cognition and recognition of unity to this omni-rational degree, even from my lay perspective. Insights into the knowledge acquired from synergetics as 50 edge intervals with radii at 50 intervals, as the volume is frequency to the third power times unity of 480, alerts intuition's deeper curiosity to pay heed. Synergetics 445.06 through 0.07. Conceptualizing 50 times 480 A and B quantum modules equal 375,000 quantum module. The conceptuality of these numbers of energy events is independent of size. Logically, it is similar to conceptualizing what were 48 states and now is 50 states as an evolution environment of coincidental number correlations. The evolving intellect is an advantage for humans to recognize the significance of omni-rational potential beyond the PRJWBC schemes as an educated ignorance that stymies self-other, inhibiting the evolution in the education process. If a democracy evolves from a republic that came into existence as an escape from intimidating powers of sovereignty, then eventually the quasi-democracy that has taken roots from such influence must evolve. The evolution must include the omnirational systems that before were omitted by default preferences in order to re-establish as yet unresolved restraints and constraints with respect to all the degrees of freedom. The number 50 of vector equilibrium's omni-equi-edged refers to its 12 vertexes, 6 square faces, 8 triangular faces, and 24 edges. 12 plus 6 plus 8 plus 25 equal 50 features. 50 vector equilibrium features symmetrically positioned topological 4 sets of polar axis of spin. This spinning regenerates the vector equilibrium's 25 great circles. So 50 is wholly WHOLLY relevant to metaphysical intellect as a function of planet U's universe, planet U's unity, Planet U's uniqueness. Planet U's utopia. Synergetics 450.10, great circles of the vector equilibrium. The isotropic vector matrix cosmic hierarchy comprises nuclear-centered systems. The systems are intertransformable, involving tetrahedron, octahedron, cube, icosahedron, rhombic dodecahedron, rhombic tricontahedron, and vector equilibrium. Logically, the only way to learn of this evolution matrix is by conceptualizing a succession of concentric 12 around 1 closest packed uniradius spheres. Therefore, discovery of this nuclear unique operational field complex required a geometer's geodesically precise mensuration vector model. We can see this cosmic hierarchy in Synergetics Color Plate 9. Initially, it seems unrelated to any imaginable use, but intuition's interest in synergetics and an evolving rational governing system trusts that someday the tetravolumes and quantum modules could coincide with anticipatory design science integral reality functions, where a system's intertransformation is the generalized conceptioning. It may turn out to work with an established inventory of a relevant accounting, a cosmic accounting, for our science-minded conceptioning referential to inherent nuclei. Naturally, the closest packing spheres show the all-space filling that also provides the sphere centers that can be joined by the most economical lines, the geodesic vectorial lines that disclose universe's minimum structural system. The minimum structural system of universe is the tetrahedron. The closest packing of sphere system layers are coincidental to atomic packing of like atoms with their own counterpart. Space is compartmental, formed by the vectors that connect the sphere centers. The first 3 layers are 12 around 1, 42, and 92, which gives us starting numbers as a deliberate clarification and self-other validating omnicomprehensive purpose for integrating the geometry of thinking. This is always as mindfulness of these spheres to spaces and spaces to spheres correlates to anticipatory design science's descriptions of energy conditions. It is as energy conditions relate to the human condition, and for which humans are designed, in principle, to escape from, to survive the slave mentalities of it, the slave mentalities of the human condition. Thank you for your individual focus, if that happens to be the case, and your continued interest and curiosity in this important research project's subjective to objective, experiential, experimental, anticipatory design science intention to manifest a true democracy while designing planet U. Links from some previous episodes are listed among today's references at the end of the video podcast, contributing to the continuity of conscious life relative to my extrapolating those resources into these developing essays.